Welcome to episode 141 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. And this week we have a special guest, Paul Levy, the category manager over at Brownells, joining us again. Hey, Paul.
Hey Jake, how's it going?
It's going great. We have a great episode lined up for you guys, talking a little bit about AR-15 pistols. But first, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and Gun Guy Radio by shopping our Amazon affiliate link by clicking through on gunguyradio.com before you shop Amazon next time. And for that matter, Brownells as well. So
There you go.
all right. So, Paul, you wanted to talk about AR-15 pistols. We'll just dive right into the main topic here. So, there's been a lot, I guess, kind of in the firearms community going on about AR-15 pistols, especially with the SIG brace coming out.
Sure. Yeah, they've been around for a while. Even going back to the assault weapons ban. If you were familiar with the pistols back then, prior to the ban, during the ban, they had to have a weight restriction and these other things that made them really goofy. People had to mill out the receivers. And following the expiration of the ban in '04, they really started to climb in popularity. And the past year, 2 years, we've really just seen kind of an explosion in AR pistols. Probably mainly because you get the short and the benefits of an AR-15 without doing the tax stamp, filing the paperwork for an SBR. You can build them just like a regular AR-15, and parts are a lot more available. And there's parts that are now just catered to the AR pistol instead of having to cobble together something out of parts that maybe didn't fit the bill that well. And the SIG brace is one of those parts. I brought in my boss's. I'm always stealing his rifles or one of their rifles or pistols. This is his, actually, if I can get it all on screen there.
Yeah, for those listening, this is actually a video episode of Gun Guy Radio, so you can check it out on episode 141 or on YouTube. So I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. So what he has here, he's got a 7.5-inch barrel. This is actually a Red X upper receiver. 7.5-inch barrel, which you commonly see on AR pistols. Although there's no barrel restriction, you could have a 24-inch barrel on one if you really wanted to. And then a pistol buffer tube with the SIG brace. The distinction for a pistol buffer tube, if you're not familiar, is that it does not have any stock settings. They are perfectly cylindrical, so you cannot attach a traditional AR-15 stock or screw on like an A2 or a short cav arms butt stock.
Okay, so they're completely smooth and round.
Yep.
See, some of this is new to me because I'm actually in the process of collecting parts to build my first AR-15 pistol here. So far, I have an Adams Arms piston, I guess, conversion kit with a 7.5-inch 5.56 barrel. But I was looking at going the SIG brace route as well with it, and that seems what a lot of people are doing lately. Like the last 6 months or so, it seems like there's an explosion of people looking at going this, SIG brace route.
Yep. With the SIG brace, it came out about a year ago, maybe a little longer, and really debuted on some of SIG's factory guns. But what it's billed as is being a brace that you can insert your arm into and then one-handed shoot the pistol. It was developed by a veteran and who wanted to help out wounded vets shoot an AR pistol. Maybe because they couldn't use both hands, or they didn't have full functionality or the strength in both arms. So it's traditionally meant to be fired like so. If I can get my hand through the the brace.
So you probably heard Paul unravel a couple of Velcro straps.
Yeah.
That you kind of stick your arm through.
And it's actually pretty snug. It doesn't really move around a lot, especially once you cinch down the Velcro straps. So it kind of lines up like that. You can shoot it one-handed, which you still do need. If you're going to hold this out in front of you, usually AR pistols aren't exactly light. They're still very close in weight to AR-15s. So it's not like it's really that practical to shoot that way, but that's what it was designed for. Um, and since the ATF sent out a letter a few months ago saying it was okay to shoulder, and it was not particularly, it didn't make the pistol rifle if you shouldered it. People have been buying these SIG braces for that purpose, actually putting their shoulder almost like a stock and shooting that way, or shooting in some form like that. That's
Right.
really probably why people are buying these now.
Definitely, because yeah, the ATF said that just because I basically I guess they're saying because you're misusing the arm brace doesn't, you know,
Correct. It doesn't
make
change the nature of the part based on how you hold the firearm.
right.
And again, prior to building an AR pistol, your best bet, of course, with anything firearms related, just look into the federal and state laws. That's always a smart move when it
Yeah,
comes to firearms. So read up on it, become familiar with it. I'd like to take a step back too and just kind of go through the process of building one and what makes
sure.
an AR pistol. There is some confusion on how you go about doing that and what you can and can't do. And it's really, if you start as like you're just building from scratch like you are, Jake, you can just start with a lower receiver, purchase the receiver, which on your ATF form 4473 comes to you as a receiver. You can then build that receiver into anything you prefer, a rifle or a pistol. So if it starts life as a receiver and you build it into a pistol, that's now a pistol. That receiver's a pistol. Um, now you
Okay,
can,
so it doesn't have to be transferred to you as a
no,
AR-15 pistol.
if it's transferred you do
Well,
it to you as a receiver, then you can go ahead and do whatever you'd like with it. Now
okay, so
you
it's
can't.
kind of a blank slate then when you get a AR-15 receiver transferred to you.
Yep,
Just the receiver.
yep, just the receiver. Now say you have an AR-15 receiver, or and it was a rifle, you can't change that to a pistol. If it's a rifle, it's a rifle. I'm fairly confident you can't change back and forth. But
Right.
if it's registered as a pistol, that's fine. It's a pistol. You're good to go. If you buy the receiver, you can build it into a pistol and do what you like. But yeah, you don't want to take your current AR-15 and then start doing this type of stuff to it because that gets real muddy as far as what you're doing with the firearm. But building it yourself, it's straightforward. Purchase it, purchase the receiver, all the components. They assemble just like an AR-15, so all the build video, the information out there, that's all going to pertain to AR pistols. Um, but you do want to buy some AR pistol specific parts, like I mentioned earlier, the buffer tube being the main one. So you will have to buy this because if you have a standard buffer tube, you can then easily attach a stock, which could probably be construed as constructive intent, which is no good. So you can't do that.
Right. Adding that to my cart right now. Pistol buffer tube.
Yep, and there's a few different buffer tubes out there. We carry a lot of pistol parts from Phase 5. We have one with a foam cover, which people really like because it's if they get down and get a cheek weld on it, it's not going to be knocking them in the face with just bare aluminum. Um, they also have I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but they have a short forend. This is their slope nose forend, which we just started carrying, and you can see it's like a carbine length, but a little tinier even then. It's meant for 7.5-inch pistol barrels. And the benefit with this handguard is, for those listening, it's a quad rail handguard, but the top rail is actually longer than the lower rail. The benefit there is it'll attach easy over your gas block, but you can also get a longer sight radius if you're putting iron sights on your pistol.
Hmm.
So that's a neat thing with their handguard. And then of course, any shorter free float tube will work as well if you're covering it with a low profile gas block. Carbine, you can put a mid length on if your barrel's long enough. A lot of people like to just cover up the barrel entirely with their forends.
Yeah.
So there's that route.
So
And
back to the Phase 5.
sure.
I'm looking at that. So yeah, it kind of has that I guess it's nitrile foam rest padding
Hmm.
on it. But if I went with that, I couldn't put a SIG brace over it, right? Because
You,
it's got foam on it, or can I?
you actually can. You could peel off that foam. You can just
Okay.
roll it back. It's on there tight. I've taken them off before, but you can just roll it back and it rolls off. So
Okay, so it's not like it's glued on there. I'm
no,
gonna ruin it.
yep,
That's good to
you
know.
can take it off. Yep.
Because that's a good price point. I can get the complete pistol buffer tube assembly from Phase 5 there on Brownells
Mhm.
for $69.99. And it's got 5 out of 5 star reviews too. So,
Yeah, they make good stuff. We recently started carrying also a complete pistol kit from them. It's a little pricier, but it has all the components you need to build an AR pistol.
oh, really?
You just need to add your lower receiver. It's a pretty cool kit. It's
Very
got
cool.
the upper, the handguard, the stock assembly you're just looking at, the lower parts kit. So it's just pretty. Phase 5 makes good stuff. And then back to the buffer tubes. We just added some pistol buffer tubes from Midwest Industries, which are kind of neat. And this one's a little longer. You'll see we got the standard pistol buffer tube here, which is a length of, for those listening, it's the length of like a regular carbine mil spec buffer tube. And this one from Midwest, it's actually, oh, I'd say about 2 inches, inch and a half, maybe longer. And it has an enlarged portion here. And what this does is allows the SIG brace to attach on, so you get a longer length of pull with the SIG brace attached. So you don't have to scrunch up so much when you're shooting, and you can shoot it more like you would a carbine stock on like the first or second setting.
Right. Oh, that's pretty cool.
It makes a longer overall pistol, but you get that benefit of being able to fire the pistol a little bit easier. And this is sold the same way as the Phase 5. It comes with just the buffer tube, or you can get it with the buffer tube, buffer, spring, end plate, and you're good to go. So
Boy,
pretty clever little attachment there.
giving me too many options here, Paul.
Sorry. And then we're gonna keep looking at the pistol stuff. We got a few other buffer tubes coming. A brand that people really respect out there, Bravo Company, just dove into the pistol components. So we'll have some buffer tube options from them. Really, what's a cool part? My other one of our managers here, Jeff, he just put together an AR pistol, and it has Bravo Company's new KMR, their lightweight key mod rail. And that
Yeah.
thing is light. It's a magnesium aluminum material, something fancy, but it's super light. It feels great. And
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about that for
and,
sure.
and on a pistol, it's fantastic. I'll bring it on here on the next podcast. Maybe we'll do that.
Okay.
Um, but that was pretty cool anyway. So Bravo Company is making good stuff out there. Really, some good stuff. Back to this one. It's not exactly an AR pistol specific part. I think we talked about this a while back too, Jake. The Law folding stock adapter.
Yeah, we did. We featured that a
Yep.
couple months ago.
So on a pistol, it kind of really comes into its prime when you can get something that big. I'm holding it out now, and it's probably 18 inches, 20 inches total length folded. And
Right,
then being folded out, you're probably at about 24 or so. So really
right.
pretty handy.
But you can't fire it in that configuration. That's
Correct. Yep.
for storage.
You can't fire it like that. But they are coming out with a Gen 3. You'll notice it's not on our website right now. They did update this. They beefed it up. It's got improved mechanism, so you'll see a Gen 3 adapter from them pretty soon. And we're pretty excited about that.
But that is a really good idea for the pistol version because, well, like me with a 7.5 inch barrel, imagine folding the stock on that. It'd be really tiny for storage.
Yeah. And people talk, you always hear people talking about truck guns or something like that.
Hmm.
AR pistols make great truck or car guns just because they're so tiny, they don't take up space. You can still put stuff in your trunk or in other areas in your vehicle. So that's really handy. And I should note that, of course, like AR-15s, you don't just have to stick to 223 or 5.56. You can go with 9mm. We saw a lot of 9mm parts. We even have really short 9mm barrels, 9mm barrels from CMMG, and those are pretty cool. And also with that, you don't get the concussion that you get with the 5.56. That's one thing you'll want to keep in mind when you're building one is they are not quiet rifles. Not that a 16-inch barrel rifle is either, but that concussion, it's closer to you, and you get a lot of unburnt powder
Yeah.
and a lot of flash on an AR pistol. They're fun. So
Yeah, if it's really windy out, you might not want to shoot upwind
yeah.
because, yeah,
And a lot of guys, they don't necessarily go with a 7.5 inch. They go with a more traditional of what you'll find on a SBR is a 10.5 inch or 11.5 inch. It's debatable on what you're going to see with reliability. You may see better reliability on a slightly longer length gas system, especially if you're going with direct impingement. Now, if you got the Adams arms with the piston, that will probably take care of some of your issues then with that shorter barrel.
yeah, that's what I've been seeing and hearing is that you, it's kind of a maybe going with a 7.5 inch.
Yeah.
You might have to really tweak it to get it to run right.
Yeah, maybe try out an adjustable gas block. But yeah, Eugene Stoner did not intend for that gas system to be that short.
Yeah.
So you can do that. I should note that probably the popularity too of these, especially around here, is in Iowa, and you're in Illinois. We can't own SBRs if you're not law enforcement or military.
Right. Right.
So this is really our only option until we get the laws changed, which we're of course trying to do.
Yeah.
This is our only option for something this short and this compact. Um, yeah, some people may not see this having an application, but you can get quite good accuracy out of an AR pistol, as good accuracy as a short barrel rifle. So they do have an application. They're not just a range toy, although they are quite fun. They are quite useful, little guys.
Absolutely. Well, I could see some of them. I could see running in a three-gun match if they'd let you. I don't know.
You'd probably have to run it as a rifle. It would
Well,
be
right, right.
because
Yeah,
just
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna conceal it and take it to my IDPA match.
just because a three-gun matches so often you have to holster or the targets aren't set up to be shot because there's a lot of close steel. You got to keep in mind that you can't be punching steel at 25 in
Well,
most cases.
that's a good point. Yeah, just because it's a pistol. I mean, if it's especially if it's 5.56, when taking this to the range, you're not going to be able to shoot it at pistol distances for steel and stuff like that.
Yeah, you still have the similar ballistics, especially at the close range. Now you do lose a lot of velocity. I don't know what the figures are in 5.56, but just because you're seeing, that's obvious because you're seeing so much unburnt powder out of the muzzle. But close range you do get pretty fast projectile out of there.
But that's a good idea for going with 9 mil or a pistol caliber is that you could shoot steel
Yeah.
a little closer up then.
Yeah, the benefits there are with a 9 mil AR pistol is the concussion's not as bad. You can have a longer barrel and still have it handy than you would on, say, a Glock 17 or even a 34. You get better ballistics out of the 9 millimeter. You get 32 round magazines. You have the options to go down to 20 or 10 if you want. And the great thing is you can solve the mountain optic. You're not necessarily shooting just one hand or just offhand like a pistol. So you get an optic on there, and you can get some really good accuracy out to 50 and even 100 yards with that 9 millimeter pistol. So really pretty handy.
So we covered the buffer tubes. Did we want to cover lowers or uppers at all? I know you guys covered both.
Yeah, really, any lower receiver is going to be compatible, even the 9 millimeter ones we sell. I'd keep an eye out. By the time this airs, we're going to have some great pricing on Bushmaster lowers. When does this go out, Jake? Do you know offhand?
This will go out this Sunday, the 19th, 20th?
Okay. Yeah, I'll mention it then. Starting on Monday, the 20th, we're going to have Bushmaster lower receivers for $49.99. So if you're in the market for a lower receiver, there's a good deal there. So I would use that lower for your build. Then upper receivers, you can go with some of the pre-built uppers we have. We have some pistol or SBR uppers from Red X, which I have here. That's this little guy. It's got a stainless steel barrel, A2 style flash hider, and then comes with this style handguard. They don't come with the bolt carrier group or the charging handle, but then they can really get at a good price point. And then we have some from DPMS, which are the more traditional. They have carbine style handguards, front sight bases, like you'd see on an M4 carbine. So we got those from DPMS, Red X. I don't know of any others offhand, but we got all sorts of barrel options. Barrels we got from 7.5. We have one from Phase 5 that's 7.5 from Double Star. Great little barrels. And then we also have 10.5 inch, 11.5 inch barrels from companies like Daniel Defense. And heck, you could put a 16-inch barrel on one if you really want to, or a 14.5 inch. And what a lot of guys will do, if they're in a state that allows SBRs, is they'll first build out their pistol. They'll get their SBR upper, um, get the receiver built as a pistol, and then file the paperwork. Once they get their stamp, everything's good to go, then they'll put on their stock and go from there. So that's one way to get all your parts and get a firearm assembled, and then just wait on your paperwork. So really, AR pistols are kind of filling a lot of roles for a lot of different people, um, in different locations too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could also go like a 300 blackout route.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't believe I didn't mention that one. 300 blackout is core. That's of course gonna be pretty cool. And that's one way to avoid the concussion. Also, if you just shoot subsonic 300
Totally.
blackout, and really 300 blackout cycles well with that short gas system. So if you have concerns about
Oh, it
shooting a 5 by
does.
6
Okay.
about that short gas system, yeah, subsonic 300 blackout is you're probably going to be best suited shooting out of a pistol gas system, especially with that length barrel, anyways. Um, just because they're moving a little bit slower, you just need a little bit more pressure to get things going.
Right.
So,
Now that's might have to rethink my build now.
and then if you're putting a can on one, a lot of guys will do that. They'll build a pistol, and then you want that compact package when you're putting a suppressor on, because you put a suppressor at the end of a 16 or 20-inch barrel, all of a sudden you're way out there and you're pretty front heavy. So that's another great use for the AR pistol.
I'll have to start lifting some weights to hold up the sig brace.
Yeah, yeah, you can keep them light. A lot of guys around here, they like to bolt stuff on, and all of a sudden they got 15-pound AR-15s. But if you're smart about it, you can keep the weight down and make it a pretty useful gun.
Um, so, did we want to cover any more handguards? You covered a few.
Yeah, we got the Phase 5, but also some carbine length ones that are great options. If you're wanting to keep the weight down, I'd recommend Midwest Industries. Their Gen 2 SS. They have it in key mod, the standard SS style, which just takes their proprietary screw attachments. They're going to have M-Lock fairly soon. We should have those live on the site shortly. And really, carbine or mid-length, you're going to be fine. You can just buy a standard length handguard. We do have a few manufacturers that produce a short 4-inch handguard. I believe we have one from Double Star. It's just a standard tube, and it's very economical that way. If you don't plan on bolting anything on,
Right.
just get a tube handguard like that. I think we sell Double Stars for $50 or so. It's the, if you're looking to save money and keep it slim and streamlined, that's a great route. Also, YHM, they produce a short quad rail. But again, like the AR-15, you can go so many different ways with this. You
Yeah.
could We could spend hours just to decide. Well, this handguard, this one.
Um, I was looking at the Samson Evolution rails
Hmm.
because they're large enough to fit most suppressors inside.
Yep.
And I was looking at those because my Adams Arms kit needs a
Oh, sure.
pretty big
Sure.
clearance inside. So something, because they have a 7-inch version of that might also work for my kit, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, that'd probably be the good way to go. Samsung makes some good stuff, and yeah, they do have a little bit more clearance. The Troy, I don't know if that would fit on the Troy. We do have some shorter Troy Alpha rails. Um, yeah, you just have to snoop around there when looking for something like that. And Adams Arms probably has a listing of handguards that fit as well. I don't know those offhand. Is it the new XLP, the kit you got, or is it the?
I don't even remember. It's it says PPSDADA on the box.
Okay, that's their standard one. Does that
Okay.
have a quad rail with it? They previously shipped those with a quad rail. The ones we have on our site actually ship with a little quad rail with them.
Well, I'm a little bit ashamed. I didn't buy this from Brownells, so
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I won't.
because
I
I
won't.
should have though. Then I would have got a quad rail with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably start carrying that option though, just because not everybody wants that quad rail. They want to use whatever handguard solution they have already, or what they want to
Right.
locate. Yeah.
Right, but that's something to keep in mind whether you're building a pistol or rifle. If you're piecemealing it together, you can kind of get a little sideways if you're not sure, what diameter, inside diameter rail to get.
Yep.
Especially if you're going with a piston system.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, especially if on any AR build, especially if you want the handguard to cover the gas block on a free float, you definitely want to know ahead of time for sure that even if it says low profile gas block, you want to know for sure that okay, manufacturer says that gas block fits inside that handguard, or you actually measure it yourself, because some stuff just isn't compatible like that.
Right, because there's no real standard out there.
No, there's no standard low profile. Most companies now they're making them as small as possible, and you don't run into that. But just to be safe, just do your research. Spend some time looking around. It'll save you the time on the return to Brownells. Although we're happy to take the return.
All right. Well, Paul, this is your main topic, so where do you want to take this?
I think I covered pretty much everything on the AR pistols. Again, it takes a lot of it's a lot of commonality with the AR-15, so that's what kind of makes them great. If you're experienced building an AR-15, you've built one or two, and you want to try something different, it really is something worth trying out because you can go so many different ways, and you can kind of experiment with stuff that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do on a full-size rifle.
So you said you're thinking about doing a pistol caliber
Mhm.
AR-15 pistol. So what do you think you'd go with for a lower?
I'll probably go with the CMMG. I think that's the only 9 millimeter lower we carry, and it has you don't have to buy any block to insert into the lower. With the CMMG 9 mm, you just buy it and it's good to go. You can buy it if you're building a 9 mm AR-15, you can go that route, or you can take your existing lower and buy a magazine well insert to accept the Colt style, usually Colt style magazines. There are a few companies making Glock AR-15s and AR-15 pistols. We just don't have those parts in yet. We probably will fairly soon, particularly some from JP. But
Okay,
right now,
cool.
I'd probably go with the Colt style, the metal form magazines, or the Brownells magazine.
Oh, that's right, because you guys produce
Yeah,
those
yeah,
and
and
and nine and any other calibers?
no, just 9 mm.
Okay.
Really, outside of 9 mm, there's not a real standard,
Oh, there's
uh,
not.
and we in the past we've kind of shied away from those non-standard guns because then customers run into compatibility issues. So, like if we did a 45, there's no 45 out there that's really standard. Some might take grease gun magazines, or somebody had it using something else, or a Thompson magazine. They're just kind of uh, I guess they're kind of goofy. With the 9 mm, Colt standardized that, so everybody else was able to look at something and say, okay, this is the specification, that's the dimension. Everybody can get on the same page and parts work together. Which, as a distributor, that makes it a lot easier for us and a lot easier to convey to the customer on what you need to buy and what works.
Right.
So
Right.
if I was to build one, I'd get the CMMG, get the standard buffer, get the 9 mm. I'm sorry, the standard buffer tube. Probably get the SIG brace, and then for 9 mm, you do need a specific buffer. It is a heavier buffer because on a 9 mm, they're recoil operated. They're not direct impingement or piston.
Okay.
So you need a
Right.
bit more mass. The carrier is of course different. It's one piece and it's recoil operated. And then I probably get the CMMG. Really, a lot of CMMG because they got the best selection at the moment. They have a really short 9 mm barrel, and I'd probably just go with like an A2 or A1 style flash hider. With 9 mm, I don't think you need to get too fancy with breaks or anything. Unless I was planning on having it suppressed, then I'd get. Well, I wouldn't need an adapter. I'd probably be using a pistol suppressor at that point, like a silencer Kosake or excuse me, a Osprey or something along those lines.
The Colt style 9mm magazines, so they come in what 32 round
Yep.
configuration.
Yeah, we have a few magazines for that configuration. We have one from Colt, which I think Metal Form makes. And then Metal Form, we have a 32, a 20, and a 10. And then we have the Brownells 32. And we'll have a 20 and a 10 here fairly soon as well.
Okay. I that's one thing with the pistol caliber ARs that, you know, the, it, I really like the idea of the Glock, the
Hmm.
ones that take the Glock magazines because, you probably already have some Glock magazines and, same thing there. You can get the what, are they 32 round, the Glock mags?
You can
The
get
big
33
ones?
round and 9
33.
millimeter. And the good thing with a lot of these kits we're seeing now that take the Glock mags, we're seeing the different calibers. And I'm
Hmm.
hoping that everybody kind of settles on one type of interface. Because I think previously the Glock parts required different uppers and different bolts. Hopefully the ones we're seeing now, they work with these older Colt style bolts and barrels. So that'll help clear things
Right.
up a lot.
Because I think some of them you had to have your bolt modified
Yeah.
for the Glock style. But the one thing I don't like about the Glock style is that I think they look a little goofy because you got the magazine going in sideways a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of go up at an angle because they have to match, that presentation for the feed lips. Yeah,
Yeah, but
and one thing is with those is since they're they're not new, but they have to be specifically machined for the Glock magazines. You do see that those lowers are a bit more expensive, whereas
mhm,
the CMMG we have that for about 180, $170, something like that. So you can get that lower at a bit better price and build on the components. I think for the value, I think you can get a complete gun and some extra mags for a little bit less than a Glock AR-15 pistol or rifle at the moment. Now that's probably going to change just because we see so many coming out, but at the moment that's probably the way I'd go.
right. Very cool. Well, I'll have all these parts we're talking about, the links in the show notes. I'll have to drop some more of these in, but for you guys to check out. But I think now's the time to build your AR-15 pistol if you've been thinking about it. I know
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah,
So
you're going to see a lot of parts. I should mention before we close out here that you're going to see a lot of parts on sale coming up, leading up to Black Friday from us. We got it, like I said, it's launching on the 20th. We're gonna have AR parts on sale. We got some parts in at really great pricing. So I'd keep your eye out for that. The Bushmaster lower, bulk carrier group uppers. You're gonna find some good deals. So
very cool.
if you're looking to build any sort of AR, you'll want to keep your eye out.
Right. And don't forget, if you're shopping Brownell, to use the Gun Guy Radio Firearms Radio Network affiliate link to fill up your shopping cart with all those AR-15 parts. So
Mm-hmm.
very cool. Well, that about wraps up the main topics. So let's talk a little bit about Alien Gear Holsters supports this episode of Gun Guy Radio. They make comfortable, concealable holsters, including their Cloak Tuck 2.0 IWB holster, which I have been trying out and really enjoying it. Fortunately, I'm still waiting on my Illinois concealed carry license to come in the mail, so I've only been walking around the house and studio with it. So
Are those Kydex holsters?
yeah, they're Kydex, and then they're a little bit different. So they don't have the leather backing; they have like a neoprene hybrid. I forget the other material, so it's actually a little bit thinner and more. It conforms more to you
Mm-hmm.
than leather does. But they have really great price points. I mean, they're $29.88 they start out at, and then you can get also a 2-pack. You can buy 2 holsters at once for just an insane deal. I think it's 49 $99. You check it out on their
Yeah.
website. I should have that in front of me. I don't.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's a pretty good price. How's that backing on you? Is that pretty comfortable?
Really comfortable. Yeah, it's better than leather for sure.
Oh,
Um, I I've been really impressed with them. You get the good price point and you get the comfortable feel to it, and they also have the lifetime warranty and everything. So really good stuff.
yeah, that's some really good
AWS.
price. That's some really good pricing.
Yeah, it is. You see the whole spectrum out there for holsters, but they have a really good price point, and also Duluth Trading Company. If you're in the market for a winter jacket, I just got the men's whaleback waterproof jacket, and it's really pretty awesome because it's rated to keep you warm all the way down to negative 15, and it's lightweight. It's not like you're putting on 20 pounds when you put this jacket on. It's really lightweight, and yet it keeps you really warm. So I'm pretty excited about that because the last winter coat I had was actually another Duluth. It's a really tough one, but it's a little bit heavy. So I asked them what their warmest jacket was, but lightest as well. And so this one kind of goes. I think the other one was rated colder than negative 15. It might have been negative 30 or something, but
Wow.
um, I think I'll be okay with negative 15. It doesn't get down there too much. But yeah, I got links for both of these in the show notes. And then real quick, want to talk about Patreon. It's a way we're crowdfunding Gun Guy Radio. So if you enjoy the show, I just ask you give $1 per episode. Consider giving $1 an episode. We'll send you some Firearms Radio Network, Gun Guy Radio stickers. And then some of you guys have decided to give a little more than $1. We have all the way up to a $15 pledge where we're giving every 3 months we're shipping out battle boxes with like the LA Police gear bags you see behind me, or the Duke Cannon gift boxes or gift ammo cans full of Manly soap. And then also Duluth has just thrown in $50 gift cards for Duluth Trading Company. And then I got all kinds of stuff. I got LA Police gear tactical flashlights.
Where do you go to for that?
So you go to patreon.com/gun.
How do you spell Patreon?
So Patreon, you spell it Patreon.
Okay.
And then, it's patreon.com/gun. And I really want to give a shout out to everyone that's pledging their support to the show. And just, consider giving $1 an episode. Helps keep these podcasts free. And also have to mention gungoddess.com is also throwing in $25 gift certificates to $15 patrons. So all the cool gear and swag I just talked about, that's if you give at the $15 level. So really appreciate you guys. And also, if you guys are in the market for graphic design, Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design, puts out some awesome graphic design work. So check it out, hunterofdesign.com. Well, that about wraps it up. Paul, I guess we'll see you in about 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
You got anything exciting coming up? Any shoots or any events?
I'm pretty much done for shoots this year. We held a mini 3-gun here at Brownell's range 2 weeks ago now, and that was a big success. So we'll get you over for one of those here next year. We're looking at doing these on a semi-annual or an annual basis, so we're pretty excited about those.
Absolutely, yeah. You're not that far from me. It's 4 or 5 hour drive, maybe not even that.
Yeah.
But mini 3-guns. So do you have to walk on your knees or?
No, we called it the mini 3-gun because most we've gone to are, they have 7, 8 stages, and then it's hundreds of people. Ours had 4 stages, and we had 34 people. So that's why it was a mini, to us anyways. It was a great event. We had at least 10 new 3-gun shooters, and everybody was pretty happy. Went smoothly. Everybody was safe, had fun, so we were really pleased. And we actually got everybody in there on time. It ran smoothly. We didn't screw it up too bad, so it was enjoyable.
So what did the shotgun portion look like?
The shotgun portion was we didn't. It was there was one shotgun only stage, and it was at a Sporting Clays 5 stand. So you'd shoot four steel targets on one. Uh, well, you actually had to. You could not start with a loaded shotgun. You had four
Oh no,
shells on the table, and when the buzzer goes, you have to load
that's
the four,
torture.
shoot your targets, and then you can only move from station to station with an unloaded shotgun, which means you have to shoot till you're empty. Well, there's only four targets, four shells. You do the math. You can't miss. If you miss, you miss the target. Then you move to the next one. The next one would be a two steel targets, a steel popper, and when the popper falls, it launches a clay. So you had two aerial clays mixed in there, and the rest was steel. A lot of guys, even though the targets were close, just reloading, a lot of guys missed quite a few targets. So a lot of loading with three gun. If you got to load the shotgun fast, that's where you're going to make up your roast time. The
So
other stages,
you didn't have any long slug target?
no, we
No.
wanted to make it really beginner friendly. So we didn't have any slugs. We didn't require them to change out ammunition for their shotgun, just birdshot, and they were good.
Cool.
The well, the other stages went great. They were a mix of all three guns, hence three gun. And the longest we shot the rifle was 100.
Oh, that's pretty good though.
Yeah, just because a lot of people just for beginners shooting past that and knowing where the rifle's on target, we just want to make it beginner friendly. But we made it a little difficult. They had to shoot offhand or off a barricade, and the barricade was by no means stable. So that was fun. At the end, they had to shoot the pistol at some poppers, and at the end, they had a bonus target on this one stage where they had to shoot the pistol target. It was probably about 50, 60 yards at the very end. So you're amped up, and then you got to shoot a pistol at that distance. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, we had a good stage design. It was fast to set up. All of the patrons helped out, or the people that attended, so it was great.
Very
It was
cool.
only plus this first run was only $25 for an entry fee,
Wow.
and we're probably going to try and keep that fairly low. A lot of three gun events, especially the ones that are really big, they cost a few $100s to get in, and that doesn't count all the money you're spending on ammunition and all that good stuff. So here at the Brown Hills Range, we're going to try and do a few more events like that. Still keep them beginner friendly, but we are going to gradually amp it up so we attract some more shooters from out of state. Maybe get some of those big name shooters in, and really make it kind of an event.
Yeah, maybe I'll stop by one of these times.
It's worth trying out. You shouldn't be worried. We had a lot of new shooters, and we told them beforehand if you have questions. I was ROing, and we just told them just ask the RO. We're more than happy to help out. And we weren't super strict on asking for assistance. The ROs would help out while they're shooting and tell them, hey, make sure you put the safety on when you dump your rifle or your shotgun. Hey, you might want to think about that target a little differently, something like that. So it was very beginner friendly. It was a good time. People were only there for 4 hours, so it wasn't a grueling day, and we had pretty good weather for it too. So.
I've been to IDPA matches that were like 3 hours longer than that. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've been really missing out on shooting this year, but next year my schedule will be wide open. So
There you go.
all right. Well, you can send feedback, share your thoughts on this episode by commenting on the bottom of the show notes at gunguyradio.com/141. And don't forget to subscribe and listen on iTunes. Never miss a show. Leave us that iTunes review if you haven't already. And also consider joining the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. I'm a member of them both, and they fight for our rights in ways that we just can't do as individuals, but collectively these organizations can do great things. Don't forget to shop Brownells and Amazon using our affiliate links. Go to gunguyradio.com/satisfaction for the Brownells affiliate link. And also, don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv/iTunes will subscribe to them all on our master feed. Well, that is a wrap. Thank you, Paul. We'll
Yeah.
see you in about 4 weeks.
Okay, see you then.